Hi gorgeous! Today's video is one that is personal. It's been a long time in the making and it's been so highly requested by so many of you. So it brings me great joy to be able to share with you today how I lost 34 pounds of baby weight. But first I need to give you a few disclaimers as is customary with these kinds of videos. Number one, I am not a doctor nor am I a nutritionist. I do not claim to be either one of those things. Number two, always consult with a doctor before beginning any diet or exercise regimen. It is very important for your health and safety. Number three, what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. Please keep in mind that we are all individuals and we all have our own unique experiences here in life. So please keep that in mind when listening to tips that I'm sharing with you as part of today's video. Number four, if you are breastfeeding, please do not start a diet like the one I am describing for you in today's video because it can lower your milk supply. You do want to wait until you are finished breastfeeding before beginning any diet plan out there. So I had my son Jett December 30th, 2016, and I gained a total of 54 pounds when I was pregnant with him. Oof. It was the first time in my life when I let go. I didn't watch anything I ate and I listened to every single pregnancy craving. Girl, let me tell you, I had fun. Immediately after I had Jett, I lost 20 pounds instantly. I didn't even know that was possible, but turns out it is. And I ultimately had 34 pounds of baby weight to lose. And I was breastfeeding for the first 6 weeks. I waited until I was finished with that. I had to stop for a lot of reasons that I won't go into. I will just tell you that I was having a lot of medical issues with it, as was Jett. He wasn't getting what he needed, so I ultimately had to stop. And it wasn't until after I stopped breastfeeding that I started researching diet plans out there for losing the baby weight. And I actually discovered this diet that I'm going to be discussing today through my dad. My dad is a type 2 diabetic and his doctor had recommended he get on something called the keto diet to help him regulate his sugar. And he was telling me some of the side effects he was having from this diet and he was losing weight. And as he was describing it, I thought, that makes a lot of sense. And so I started researching it myself. And the more I learned about it, the more I was on board with it. Before we get too far into the video, I wanted to show you my before and afters so you can see the transformation that I went through on this diet and exercise regimen that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Now this is where I started. This was taken in February this past year, and this was taken just a couple days ago, and you can see the dramatic difference between these two pictures. No Photoshop whatsoever. Just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this picture over here. It's a lot of hard work, but I'm going to tell you everything I did today to go from this to this. So what is this diet? I have my own way of describing it to people when they ask me what it is, but I'm going to read you the actual definition so there isn't any confusion. It says that the keto diet is a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb way of eating that causes the body to burn fat rather than sugar for energy, and it's a much more efficient and health-promoting process. And when I read that the first time, I thought, wow, I didn't realize our bodies ran on sugar. But with as much as we are consuming as a society, especially in the United States, it wasn't surprising for me to hear that our bodies do run on sugar. Obviously, I did this diet in conjunction with an exercise routine, which I will talk about a little bit later in the video. But I also wanted to share with you that I had a trainer several years ago who told me that weight loss is 80% in the kitchen, 20% in your exercise routine. And I found that to be 100% true, especially with this diet, because there were a couple weeks throughout this journey where I didn't exercise at all. I wanted to test out the theory a little bit there, and I still lost weight even though I wasn't exercising. So even if you're not at a point yet where you can exercise, it's far more important to watch what you're putting in your body rather than going out and doing a bunch of stuff and potentially getting hurt. So you can always start your weight loss journey just by changing your eating habits. The other thing I did with this diet was I knew I needed to reduce my calories significantly in order to start losing weight. So what I did was I went online, I found a calorie calculator, and if I can find the one that I used, I'll have it linked for you below. It asks for your height, your weight loss goals, all of that great stuff, and then it calculates out how much you should be consuming to lose either 1 pound a week or 2 pounds a week. And you really don't want to lose more than that. Otherwise, you risk an unhealthy weight loss, and you also risk the weight coming back later on. I'm not going to share my caloric intake when I was on this diet because it was really low, and I don't want anybody to copy me. You really need to find out what your own unique calorie intake should be based on your height and your weight. But what I will tell you is I was eating twice a day. My portions were very reduced, but with the keto diet, it was amazing to me because I was satisfied. You're eating real food, not filler processed crap. So you don't walk away feeling hungry. And that was the most eye-opening experience for me in this whole journey. I will warn you that if you try the keto diet, you may experience something called the keto flu, which sounds worse than what it is, but it's really not. And not everybody experiences it for that matter. For me, it only lasted for about 2 weeks, and it's basically your body's way of adapting to not having any sugar in its system whatsoever, which is quite jarring if all you've ever known is sugar consumption, and that's what your body has been running on. For me, I had a little bit of headaches. I felt sluggish. I was really tired. My mind felt really clouded up. But the good news is that after you get past the keto flu stage, all of those symptoms are completely reversed and the opposite happens. I had an increased level of energy. I was sleeping so much better at night. My mind felt clearer, and I just felt like an entirely brand new person. When I first got on the keto diet, I was looking for all kinds of resources on it. And of course, I'm a researcher and I research everything to death. I found this book, which I've shared with so many of you on Snapchat. It's called The 30-Day Ketogenic Cleanse by Maria Emmerich. I'll have it linked below for you. And this became my holy grail. It has a complete explanation of keto, how to follow keto, roadblocks that you may hit, things that you can eat, things that you can't eat, and there are a ton of recipes in this book, and there is a picture for every single recipe, which to me was extremely helpful. The recipes in this book are simply amazing. She has a recipe in here for chocolate waffles that is to die for, and you would swear you were cheating when you eat this, that it's just packed full of sugar, but the next day the scale goes down and it's just like, woohoo! One of the things I'm gonna do this week too is I'm going to share some of my favorite recipes from this book on my Instagram profile. So if you do wanna try the keto diet out, or if you're looking for new recipes to try, I'll have some really excellent ones for you on my Instagram profile. And one of the things I discovered when I found Maria was I started researching her and reading about her backstory. Turns out she had IBS and she cured it simply with the keto diet. And I've not talked openly about this on my YouTube channel before. I've shared it on Snapchat, but I do suffer with a very severe form of IBS, borderline Crohn's disease, that they haven't been able to quite diagnose. And it is extremely debilitating. If you suffer with similar, or you have a chronic illness of your own, then you know that from the outside, everybody thinks that you're wonderful and you're great, but inside it's complete turmoil and you are in constant pain, and it's such a nightmare living in your own body. And the first time I got relief from my IBS was actually when I was pregnant, believe it or not. I don't know if there's something about the hormones that balanced everything out, but it was the first time in my entire life I didn't have any flare-ups for 10 months straight, and I could eat anything I wanted without fear of something happening. And I know that the keto diet for me has cured my IBS completely, because after I had Jett, for the first 6 weeks when I was breastfeeding, my IBS came back tenfold. I had flare-ups that were just completely awful and left me in tears. I was actually wishing for labor, if you can believe it or not. A lot of people wonder how I went through labor with no drugs. Because I have IBS every single day of my life, labor was nothing compared to IBS. That was one of the accidental discoveries about this diet, was that it cured my IBS. And it made me mad in a sense, because I can't tell you how many diets I have tried from doctors trying to cure me of this, how many medications I've been on, and nothing worked. But no one ever suggested to me, cut sugar out of your diet, because sugar is a very inflammatory property, and some of us are more sensitive to it than others, obviously, like as is my case. So if you struggle with a chronic illness, look at your sugar intake. You may be surprised that just cutting it out cures your chronic illness like that. And I've had so many of you message me on Snapchat with your success stories after starting the keto diet, and I'm so proud of you. And I wanted to share one of my friend's testimonies that she sent me through Snapchat. She says, "You made me look into this diet and I've been on it for 4.5 weeks. I'm down 20 pounds, and my migraines are gone. I've had one in the last month and I was getting them 2 to 3 times a week before." That is amazing. That's simply astounding. Just to think that sugar can do that to our bodies. So if you've struggled with a chronic illness your entire life and nothing has worked for you, please look into the keto diet because it is life-changing. And for me, it's not a diet so much anymore to lose weight now that I'm at the end of my journey. It's become a lifestyle. It's something that I want to continue because I feel so good on it. Now we've covered the diet, let's talk about exercise. And one of the things I do want to say is if you just had a baby, please wait until you are 6 weeks postpartum before beginning any exercise regimen. It is vital for your healing. Your body has been through a lot. Give it a chance to rest and recover. On the day that I was cleared, that was when I started my exercise regimen, but it didn't look like it does now back then. I started very slow with baby steps until I got to where I am now. And I initially started out walking a lot. And to me, that is the best exercise that a new mom can do because you can put baby in the stroller, get out there and get your exercise. Baby takes a nap, you get to walk and enjoy the outdoors, get a change of scenery, and get a little time to clear your head. It wasn't until about 12 weeks postpartum that I started the exercise regimen that I follow now. And I was always trained to lose weight, you need to do cardio. Cardio to me is the best way that you can lose weight all the way around your body because you can't spot reduce fat. Now, there are different forms of cardio out there depending on what speaks to you. You can run. I personally hate running, so that wasn't in the mix for me. But one of the things I really do love is spinning for a number of reasons, most notably because it's really easy on your joints. We have a lot of joint problems in my family. So I bought a bike a couple years ago so I could spin at home, and I take these online classes for spinning. And so that was what I started doing. I did spin classes 3 times a week for 30 minutes a day. And when I was researching exercising for losing weight, I read that you really only need to exercise 30 minutes a day. There's no need to go to the gym and work out for an hour, for 2 hours. 30 minutes is all your body needs to jumpstart your weight loss. I also added in strength training twice a week for 30 minutes a day. And strength training is so essential for weight loss because it helps your muscles continue working long after you've stopped the exercise. So you're essentially burning fat while you're sitting there doing nothing later on, which is fabulous. And I feel like strength training does get a bad rep among women. Some women think that if you lift weights, you're gonna get bulky like a man, and that's not the case at all. When I first went into this weight loss journey, I looked at it as a temporary means of being able to lose the weight, and then after I was done, I was gonna go back to how I was eating before. But now that I've experienced the keto diet, it's not one that I want to let go of for the simple reason of how much it has cured my IBS alone. And it's not a diet for me anymore as much as it is a lifestyle change now. I have been adding in small things here and there like orange juice, which I absolutely love, but I really regulate how much I drink at breakfast. I probably have like that much with my breakfast, and I am monitoring it to see if I do have any flare-ups. And the second that I do have a flare-up, obviously I'm going to cut it out again, but I've not had any issues by adding in little things here and there. So whether you've struggled with weight loss, you just had a baby, or you have a chronic illness, I sincerely hope that you found this video helpful. And for those of you on Snapchat who've been following me through this journey, please feel free to share your experience with keto. I know many of you got on the keto bandwagon with me, and you also picked up on this journey with me, and I can't tell you how inspiring that was to be able to have other people experiencing the same thing I was and sending me recipes and sharing back and forth. It was simply amazing. And I also want to say thank you to so many of you who have recognized my weight loss and have sent your amazing compliments. It's truly so rewarding to see all of the hard work that has paid off. And believe me when I say it was hard work. I had people tell me, oh, it's easy, she's losing weight because it's her first child, and you know, it's not been easy, okay? No part of this has been easy at all. I'm so happy I could share this with you today, and I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.